Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Heather and today I am here with a slightly unusual video for me. And this was inspired by the fact that usually I am a huge lover of classics. But for whatever reason, I haven't really been drawn to them as much this year. I think mainly because my anxiety has been playing up a lot for a number of different reasons. And I just didn't feel like I had the brain capacity to devote to a classic novel. But that is something that I want to correct on a number of different fronts. And one of the things that I thought that I could do is to make myself a classics basket. I bought this basket. It was on sale on LitJoy Crate. And so I bought it and I thought, well, I'll definitely use it for book storage in some way, shape, or form, but I wasn't sure exactly how. But I've come to the realization of why don't I make a classics basket? So whenever I feel the urge to read a classic, some are right out here. I don't have to look at my huge stack of possibilities. I can choose from a much more manageable looking amount. So that is what I've decided to do to try and help boost my classics reading. And I have pulled together a selection of classics off of my stacks. I have avoided my Victorian classics purely because I am trying to save those for Victober, although I think one or two may have slipped in here by accident, but anyway, plenty to go around. So here are some ones that I think might call to me in the coming months. The first couple I have pulled from past TBRs that I've never really gotten to. One is Cold Comfort Farm by Stella Gibbons. I know so many people really love this. I know that it's about a young girl who is sent to live on her family farm for a period of time, I believe. Oh, it's from 32. And one person she meets on Cold Comfort Farm is more eccentric than the next. I've had mixed feelings about wanting to get into it, but so many of you really enjoy it, so I will put it on the list. Then I also have Ballet Shoes by Noel Streatfeild. This is another children's classic in Britain that really hasn't made it over here. And it's about three girls who were all adopted by the same old archaeologist who they call Great Uncle Matthew. But because he is away a lot of the time, they are really left to themselves. And through various circumstances, they end up studying for stage careers, and two of them really take to it. One of them discovers she has a talent for acting. One of them does discover that she is a very talented dancer. The third, however, wants to become an aviator, and we follow all three of them as those desires unfold and as they grow up. Then I also pulled An Old-Fashioned Girl by Louisa May Alcott. I know very little about this one, but Louisa May Alcott is always cozy and comforting and not too complicated. If I feel like something a bit more challenging, I might throw in the second of the Kristen Lavransdatter series. This is book 2, The Wife, where we're following Kristen now as a grown-up and as a wife. This is a Norwegian classic. It was written in the 20s, but it's set in medieval Norway. I also pulled Brothers-in-Law by Henry Cecil. It feels very Jeeves and Wooster-esque style comedy, but I believe it's about lawyers in the Old Bailey. Ah, yes, it is blurbed by P.G. Wodehouse. I also pulled The Wings of the Dove by Henry James. I have been meaning to read more Henry James for ages, and I've been meaning to read this one ever since I saw Notting Hill when I was a teenager, because this is referenced in the film Notting Hill. And indeed, Julia Roberts' character is shown filming an adaptation of it, so I've always really wanted to read it and see what it's actually about. I threw Man and Superman in there just because it's quite short and the idea of reading a Penguin classic really appealed to me, and I have no idea what this is about, but having read the back, it is extremely intriguing. It's about a young woman becoming the ward of two men, and when one of them discovers that she intends to marry him and he intends to never marry, he runs away and she follows him, and somehow they both end up in hell and have these very philosophical experiences. That sounds fun. I also grabbed The Diary of a Provincial Lady by E.M. Delafield. This is another cozy classic in which we follow, I believe, a young woman who's recently married and inherits this country estate, or does she end up going to London, or is that a later book? Nope, there's no description in here. There's just an excerpt. So we will find out which one of those summaries is in fact correct. I'm rapidly running out of room. I'm not sure the next 4 books that I've pulled are going to fit, but I'm going to try. The next is Family History by Vita Sackville-West. I loved All Passion Spent. I really, really loved it. And this sounds very similar in that we're following the Gerald family and the various ups and downs of them. I think her style is lovely, so I can't wait to read more of her. Another potential read is Miss Mackenzie, my one Victorian exception here. So many of you really recommend this trollop. Another short, immersive classic that I pulled to go in the basket is The Longest Journey by E.M. Forster. This could potentially be my last Forster as well. I believe I've read many of his others. And we follow Cambridge students, it looks like. Could be really interesting. I also pulled The Adventures of Arsène Lupin, Gentleman Thief by Maurice Leblanc. This I read the first chapter of for a try a chapter tag and then never returned to it. But I really enjoyed the series when my family again started it. We never finished it. So I would be intrigued to read the actual short stories that inspired that show. So here we have the finished basket, attempting to hold the mic and the basket at the same time. But hopefully this trick works. It may or may not help, but I'm willing to give it a go. Let me know down below if you highly recommend any of the books that I pulled, and that might inspire me to get to them a little bit faster. Let me know if you have a similar system. Do you really care if you stop reading a particular genre as much? Does it really matter in the long run? Let me know any and all of your thoughts down below, and until next time, be safe, be well, and happy reading. Bye, everyone.